Welcome to the Celebrity Love Show. Today's celebrity is Jean-Claude Van Damme. That's right, otherwise known as simply Van Damme. So, I'll be going over all of his past relationships. My oh my, is it quite interesting. And, as well as provide my final thoughts. So, without further ado, let's go ahead and begin, shall we? Kicking the show off with his status as of now. He is married. So he is successful. Imagine that. Not just a fighter in real life and movies, but also in real life aside from martial arts and his love life. That's right. So 65 years old and still married for a very long time. We're going to find out a lot more, but don't think that it didn't come with a lot of struggles. Let's go ahead and go over his past relationship, shall we? All right, starting this long journey review with his first candidate here, Maria Rodriguez, a high school sweetheart. Isn't that interesting? Who would have thought? All right, so his first marriage. Wow, diving into it. 1980 to 1984. Only 4 years and then divorced. So Van Damme was only 20 years old. Not bad. It's pretty early, though. Rodriguez was a similar age. All right, so the context. Married in his native Belgium country before any fame. Yes, he is the muscles from Brussels. Rodriguez was part of his pre-Hollywood life. The marriage represented a conventional, rooted life he chose to abandon. All right, for whichever reasons. It's irrelevant. We're just going to go over the relationships. So, why the marriage ended? He abruptly left for the United States to pursue stardom, effectively deserting the marriage. Isn't that kind of sad? I mean, I would have brought her with me. I'm just saying, that's what I would have done. But Van Damme said, I was a kid with a dream. I had to go to America. I broke her heart. I broke many hearts on my way to the top. It was my fault. In his autobiography, he wrote that. They didn't have any kids together. But, au revoir, Maria. Sorry. But he made his choice. That's kind of brutal. It really is. But luckily they didn't have any kids together. So, 4 years together and just like that. I don't know. It's really controversial, isn't it? To leave for your dreams or to stay in the name of love. Well, he should have brought her with him, but I'm nobody to dictate Van Damme's decision. So let's go ahead and move on to Cynthia Derderian. I think I pronounced that okay. Actress, model. All right, so married again, the second marriage. Imagine that. And here we are with, once again, as a main theme to this show, a bullet train running through the forest, right? 1985, the next year, the very next year, to 1986, only 1 year, divorced after just 1 year. Mamma mia, that's really crazy. So Van Damme was 25 years old. All right, moving up, I guess, however you want to look at it. A whirlwind marriage in Los Angeles during his years of poverty and struggle. So why it ended? The marriage collapsed under the immense pressure of his failing career and financial desperation. No kids. Isn't that kind of sad, though? I mean, you really do. I wonder if, Cynthia really supported him during those very tough times. I wonder why it actually ended, but unfortunately we'll never know. But we don't always have to know. I mean, I value privacy as well, but it's just a little curiosity, that's all. Very sad how we start things. And he's very serious. Look at that. 2 marriages already down the drain. So from age 20 to age 25. All right, so that's 5 years of his life. Let's go ahead and move on to the next candidates in line. Number 3, extremely important here. Gladys Portugues, bodybuilder, actress. All right, so this is their first marriage together because later we'll learn that he was married to her again, similar to Jennifer Lopez and Ben Affleck, that type of deal. So let's take a look at their first marriage here. So married 1987. Still on that bullet train, I swear. To 1992, divorced. That's only 5 years, but okay, that's similar to the first marriage. I mean, married again, people. No dating, no messing around. I mean, who knows? But we're going to learn a little bit more about that too. Okay, so Van Damme was 27. Gladys was 28. All right, almost the same age. Married at the dawn of his superstardom following Bloodsport. Yes, love that movie. Portugues was a celebrated figure in the fitness world. So why it ended? His fame triggered severe cocaine addiction. All right, so drugs, right? Paranoia and rampant infidelity with models and co-stars. I guess we have to say allegedly because let's see if he admits it himself, right? I like to be the nice guy. So Gladys is known as saying, the person I married disappeared. That's sad. It was all cocaine and starlets. I had to save myself and my son. Okay, so they had a child together. So Van Damme says, I was the muscles from Brussels, but inside I was empty. I lost my wife because I was a ghost. Isn't that interesting? All right, so internal issues. Very sad. All right, so they had a son, Christopher Van Varenberg, and the divorce was acrimonious, meaning pretty angry divorce, with Portugues receiving primary custody and a restraining order. That's pretty intense. But we're going to see what more builds up out of that story with Gladys later on. Let's go ahead and point out that Kylie Minogue, a singer, he had an affair with her. And I believe that was during the filming of Street Fighter the movie. Just taking a guess. But a brief, highly publicized fling in the early 1990s. Yes, I do remember that. The stories about this occurred during the breakdown and separation of his first marriage to Gladys Portugues. Okay. So this was during the breakdown and separation. Technically an affair, right? But I guess technically not. I guess it is. Who knows, right? By definition, it is. So Van Damme says, Kylie was an angel during a dark time. A beautiful person. But I was not ready for anything real. How about that? Let's go ahead and move on, shall we? All right. So let's go ahead and get deeper into the next relationship here. Again, another marriage. You got to be kidding me. It's his call. What can I say? So Darcy LaPier, actress, model, married from 1994 to 1997, and then divorced. Wow, these are all so short-lived, aren't they? Van Damme was 34. My goodness. Darcy was 25. All right, so married during the peak of his action star fame. Maybe he thought she was the one. And at the height of his addiction. All right, so high risk. The relationship was characterized by extreme volatility. LaPier, this is about how it ended. LaPier filed for divorce citing irreconcilable differences and fear for her safety following violent drug-fueled incidents and his infidelity. I guess I have to say allegedly, but it is what it is. I mean, she's the one who said it, right? Not defending Van Damme. I'm just saying we don't know exactly how much of this is extreme, but that sounds pretty sad. You know, if that's exactly how it went down, it's pretty sad. I mean, yeah, don't do drugs, people. Darcy LaPier said his behavior is unpredictable and fueled by substances. I fear for my safety and well-being. And Van Damme said, with Darcy, I was still lost. I hurt another good woman. I had to hit bottom. Okay. So I guess he means rock bottom. And no children together. And from what I know, the only child was with, the previous marriage that we went over. We'll go over that again. All right, so the split involved lawsuits over money and property. All right. Well, I mean, there's always more bad news to come with a divorce. What can I say? Financial, yeah. All right, well, this is pretty sad. Let's go ahead and move on to the next candidate. Well, it's not really a candidate. We're going to go over all the affairs because that is relevant. It is quite a wild life that Van Damme has lived. Anna Nicole Smith. Everybody should know her as a model. Chaotic, tabloid frenzy fling in the mid-1990s. All right, so it occurred during his first marriage to Darcy LaPier, significantly contributing to its public collapse. No, not his first marriage, his marriage to Darcy. We got that. All right, so Van Damme said that was a rocket ship. Yeah, tell me about a rocket ship. He's been a rocket ship since the very first marriage. A rocket ship to Crazy Town. This is all crazy. 2 lost souls. It was never going to be more than a headline. All right, so it's an affair, right? But during his marriage, during his marriage with Darcy. That's really bad. So let's go ahead and move on to more affairs here and short-term stuff here. All right, so still in the mid-1990s, Vanessa Angel, his co-star in the 1995 film Sudden Death, widely reported in tabloids. At the time, as a romantic involvement during and after filming contributed to the strain on his marriage to Darcy. Okay, so yet another during the Darcy marriage. Wow. Gabrielle Richins, a British model who publicly claimed in the mid-1990s to having had a brief affair with Van Damme, describing him as intense and charming. All right. And then Tina Bockrath, a Playboy playmate. Wow, this is really wild. The July 1991 playmate was rumored in celebrity magazines to have been linked with Van Damme around the time of his separation from Gladys Portugues. All right, so looks like he just went crazy, allegedly. General tabloid pattern. Okay, so throughout this period, publications like People and US Weekly routinely linked him to unnamed models and starlets at Hollywood parties and film premieres, solidifying his media reputation as a serial philanderer alongside his drug use. Okay, wow, this is intense. But that's the type of, reputation and effects that come with such a, like he said, like a rocket. Just living through life like a rocket. I mean, it's just, like I always say, stumbling upon yourself, running through a forest, not watching where you go. But the most interesting thing that I see about Van Damme is that he just goes straight for marriage. And as I always say, completely skipping the friendship phase. And not even dating, really. I mean, sure, they probably went off on a few dates, but I don't promote dating for obvious reasons. But, yeah, this is as fast as it gets. So, how does the story end for Van Damme, or how does it continue? Well, just like I mentioned before, his second marriage to Gladys Portugues. That's right, similar to the Bennifer relationship where they got remarried again. Although that one ended tragically. Not for Van Damme, because lo and behold, this story has a happy ending. At 65 years old, guess who comes out on top? Jean-Claude Van Damme. All right, so Gladys Portugues, second marriage, and as of late today, reconciled and remarried in 1999, saying hello to the new millennium. All right, so they're still married. Van Damme was 39 and Gladys was 40, around the same age. After hitting rock bottom, Van Damme achieved sobriety, which is really good, and dedicated himself to winning back Portugues' trust. Now, I'm a firm believer that if you cheat on your partner, it's pretty much over. I don't think you can gain back the trust. But this is one of those, it's not an exception. This is just one of those cases where if they're okay with it, so be it. I'm not going to dictate anybody's lives. But, I can't really, I don't know enough about them to make any type of long-term estimate. But if they're happy together, so be it. That's just a case of extreme forgiveness. I know almost everybody is going to disagree with that. Allowing somebody who literally just broke your heart back into your life and say that, yeah, let's work on our trust this time. Straight into marriage, by the way. Okay, so Wyatt worked the second time. His sustained sobriety, fidelity, and dedication to family provided the stability missing before. Well, I mean, he's been on quite an adventure. So maybe he's tired. I'm not saying that's why he went back to Gladys. I'm just saying that imagine when he was young, he was all over the place. And rumored affairs everywhere. So, I mean, looking back at this, I mean, I don't know if he sees it as a time to finally settle down with somebody that you've known in the past. I mean, Jennifer Lopez tried to do that with Ben Affleck. Didn't work out. Will it work out with Van Damme with Gladys? Is it really permanent? Well, I mean, they've been with each other for quite a long time. Van Damme said, I got clean. I went to her on my knees, not the action hero, but the broken man. I said, give me one last chance to be the man you married. She is my true sensei. Gladys said, he was sober. He was the man I fell in love with again. We had a history, a son. I chose to believe in the changed man, not the monster he became. They raised their son Christopher together, right, to this day. Wow. So just wow. So, decades together now. I believe that's 25 years married, somewhere around there. So congratulations to them, but I mean, they do have a son together. Here are my final thoughts. It's a really thin red line, right? It could be seen as a thick red line in some cases, but they had a son together. In fact, that was the only son that he ever had. And so I believe he felt like he connected most with Gladys, right? Now, forgiving somebody for being, unfaithful, that's up to everybody to decide. But me personally, I don't think I could forgive such a thing. I mean, it doesn't matter if we have a son together or a daughter. But everybody has to make that decision for themselves. The same as probably the worst decision that you probably would have to make if such a scenario arises is if one partner dies, do you continue finding somebody else to love, or do you quote unquote honor your partner and wait to see them in the afterlife? I don't know. In my book, I simply said, that's up to everybody to decide. I can't tell you what to decide there. And the same applies to forgiving infidelity. I can't tell you, I can't support it, but I can't tell you what to do in that case because it's up to you. That's just a case of forgiveness. Even in an abusive relationship scenario. Can you forgive the abuser? For instance, my parents ended up abusing me way more than I thought was even possible. Like, I got it the worst out of all of my family. We were a family of 6. Can I forgive my parents for that? No, I can't. They knew exactly what they were doing, and to me, that's completely unforgivable. My mother said, "Oh, can you forgive me?" And I said, "Yeah, sure." Because I don't feel anything anymore. I mean, if it makes you feel better, but it doesn't solve all the pain, right? I'm over it. It's just a sad story. I've been over it for many decades now, but my brothers and sister just pretty much just left me hanging and be like, well, I don't know. Sorry you had to go through that, but let's just sweep it underneath the carpet. So is this all forgivable? No, it's not. It's despicable. It's a crying shame, right? But I'm not the one crying. If they can live without me, that's fine. Now, in this case with Jean-Claude Van Damme and Gladys obviously forgave him. And he literally got on his knees and begged for forgiveness. I don't know the reason why. Maybe he feels like, because he's 65 years old, people. But he's still very physically fit. He's still portraying himself as a nice, polite gentleman. So it had to have taken quite a bit of soul searching for Gladys to forgive him after all these years. Imagine if Van Damme would have just been, got sober with her in the relationship, fixed all of his stuff. They could have enjoyed all those years together. So I don't know. I mean, never say never. Like, okay, I hope they have a happy life together and they don't break up like J-Lo did the second marriage with Ben Affleck, right? I wish them the best. But what can I say? It is a sad story. It's a happy ending. But it's also a sad story because so many years wasted. So many that still remain. But it's kind of like bittersweet, isn't it? I mean, it's better late than never. Fine, I get it. But at the same time, it's like a double-edged sword. Because it's a sword of victory, but it's also a sword of harakiri, like self-defeat. Like you literally stabbed yourself, right? It's just, it doesn't feel victorious. And with that said, I really have to conclude it there because there's nothing more I can say about it. It is what it is. It's a classic case of it is what it is. It's up to them to decide what they want to do, why they came back, and why they forget. Okay, you know what? To each their own. But do I really support it? No. But am I happy that at least Van Damme, found the errors in his ways and came back to somebody that he most likely did love at one point? I mean, you had a child with her. Yes, I'm happy for him. Happy for both of them. But it's just, let this be a lesson to everybody else out there. You don't want to be one of those idiots to realize that you didn't know what you had before you lost it. You have to be grateful every single day for the opportunity that you have on a daily basis. Whether you're single to find a person to love now and forever, or whether you're with somebody to cherish them inside and out every single day without flaw. No, we're not robots. We're more powerful than that. And yes, you can love somebody on that level. Each and every single day as if it was the first day. So did Van Damme mess up? Yes. He was trying way too hard by going straight into marriage, stumbling upon himself, running through the forest of the unknown. And he somehow got it right in the end, but it's just very bittersweet, isn't it? It's a victory, but yeah, he had his own demons to fight from within. So with that said, kind of a happy but sad ending at the same time. A little bit unexpected. With that said, that does conclude this show. Be sure to comment with your own thoughts. What do you think about Van Damme's story? And check out my other exciting shows listed here. Stay tuned for more celebrity love shows. Not very many that remain, but stay tuned. Much love, everybody.